If you're uploading and storing files to an EFS volume, then you need a way to scan those files for malware. Just like you would scan a laptop or desktop for viruses, it would be negligible to not scan your EFS volumes too. We protect pre-existing files stored in EFS volumes in two ways. You can perform an on-demand scan of an EFS volume at any time. Once you log into your management console, go to your list of EFS volumes and select a single volume or multiple volumes. From there, click the Actions button and click Scan Existing AV. You'll be able to set the date window based on whether you want to scan files that have existed in the EFS volume for all time or only to a specific time window. If you only want to scan a specific path and ignore all other files in the volume, you can set a specific prefix to scan as well. After you click Scan Selected, we'll kick off a scan job in the background that will perform the work. You can navigate to the monitoring section of your AV console and then go to the Jobs page. Here, you'll be able to see the job running and what step of the scan process it's on. In the background, when the job kicks off, we'll first generate one scanning agent that will attach to the EFS volume and crawl it. It will then send messages to an SQS queue containing information about each file on the volume. After crawling completes, we'll spin up a separate scanning agent that will feed off of the SQS queue and scans the files contained on the EFS volume. We'll write any scan results to CloudWatch, and any problem file information will be written to DynamoDB and output to the problem files page of your console. Once the job completes, the scanning resources are torn down. If you have a need to periodically scan EFS volumes, you can do so through our scheduled scanning functionality. After you select the volume you want to perform scheduled scans on, you can set the frequency you want the scan to run on. Anywhere from every 15 minutes to every hour to every day, month, year, or even quarter. You can also set whether you'd like to crawl specific prefixes instead of the entire volume here as well. After you save the schedule, you'll be able to see it on the schedules page, and it will run based on the frequency that you set. Before we wrap up, let's talk about networking prerequisites for EFS volume scanning. If you're trying to scan an EFS volume for the first time, the scanning agents being used must be placed inside the same VPC as the volume and in a subnet within the same availability zone as one of the volume's mount targets. Speaking of mount targets for the EFS volume must exist in the selected subnet's availability zones. Only subnets with mount targets will be shown for selection here. When setting up, select the subnets in which the agent is allowed to be placed. These subnets must allow outbound internet traffic, and we require you to choose at least two subnets in different availability zones in order to save the configuration. In our case, we'll use the two subnets our EFS volume is on. Once you've set up everything networking related, you'll be set to start scanning any EFS volumes you have on an on-demand or scheduled basis. If you have EFS volumes you need to scan, our solution is the one for you. Once you're up and running, you can scan volumes as needed and ensure the data within them is clean. If you have any questions or need additional assistance getting up and running, please reach out to support@cloudstoragesecurity.com and we'll be able to help you out. Make sure to keep those storage volumes clean, and thanks so much for joining us today.